Hello friends, my name is James Hopkins, and as always I'm joined by my good friends Bryan and Anthony Alessino, as well as my younger brother, Jack Hopkins. On this show we're all about parlays, overs, unders, spreads, and money lines. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Parlay-Vous. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another glorious episode of the Parlay-Vous podcast. People really seem to love when I dug into Rob Saleh and the Jets last week. So I think we're going to start every Tuesday show from now on with the Jets and the Giants. Unfortunately, this week, I don't have much ripping into to do for the Jets because they won the game. Miracle that they won the game. We said this off air. Nick Chubb just goes down. Instead of scoring that touchdown, the game's over. But a win is a win. We're back in the mix. I'm not that upset about it. If you talk to me all week, I don't think I said anything about it on the pod, but if you talk to me all, like, from Thursday on, all week, I'm like, I think the Jets could win this game. Like, I really, really do think the Jets could win this game. And I definitely thought 6.5 was, like, ridiculously too high. And here's why. Like, are the Panthers a good football team? Do we think the Panthers are good?
Not really.
No, not at all.
And they beat the Panthers on a walk-off field goal.
Yeah.
Like, that Jets defense is really, really, really solid. Other than 2 or 3 huge throws from Lamar Jackson, they kept that offense contained the entire game.
In here, the safeties are the biggest problem, by far. I have no problem with any of the other DBs. The safeties, I noticed too many issues, too many mental lapses, like to the point where they're the only people giving up the plays. The front guys are fucking amazing.
Right, but
everybody in the middle, in the box, amazing.
If DJ Reed is barely getting targeted and Sauce Gardner, I mean, he got, I think it was 6 or 8 targets for 6 catches on Sauce this past week. And I think DJ Reed had 3 targets for 1 catch, something like that. Targets got to go somewhere. So if guys aren't throwing to the outside, they're going to throw to the middle of the field. Someone's going to get beat. I wouldn't be too upset about the way the safeties are getting lit up right now, to be completely honest with you. LaMarcus Joyner, we knew wasn't great. He's one of the starters, I think, right?
Yes.
It's him and Jordan Whitehead.
Yep.
And Jordan Whitehead, we didn't bring him in to be a huge cover guy. He's another one of those extra linebacker box safety types. He could still get after it, play a deep third of the field. But I wouldn't overreact to the way the safeties were playing. I get what you're saying, though. The volume has to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if guys aren't throwing to the outside, they got to throw to the middle. And not for nothing, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens aren't really built with outside perimeter threats. So who's getting the ball a lot? Mark Andrews, running
right.
backs.
Yeah.
A lot of guys up in the middle of the field.
And even to speak, obviously, Mark Andrews had trouble in that game.
Sauce was locking him up a lot.
Sauce was giving him.
Yeah, Sauce was locking him up a lot. Sauce got a little bit of the work this week, but that's okay. We're not expecting him to come in and shut people down right away.
Dude, you live and you
Yeah, but
learn.
you're going against
and
Nick Chubb.
I think we like what
Yeah.
we see.
Not an easy.
Yeah, when you just got Amari Cooper
Yeah.
and fucking Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mean, I think
Cooper
Cooper was the guy who lit them
101
up.
and a touchdown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cooper got after it this week.
So one of, I think, Cooper's touchdown, I think,
Safety.
what?
It was a safety thing, but continue.
No, I'm saying I
Damn, he
think
had 10 targets and caught 9 of them.
Jordan Whitehead was the closest defender in pass coverage when Cooper caught the ball on the touchdown, but it was actually a Sauce mistake that gave that play up. So it looks like it's Whitehead's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It goes against him in the individual next-gen stats, but things are deeper than numbers and stats. If the guy made a mistake and, blew a coverage, you blow a coverage. It happens sometimes.
When I was watching it, Sauce was waving down Whitehead, telling him to come down, and Cooper literally just shot straight up the seam. That's what it looked like. And that happens. But
Busted coverages happen. That's not really my point here. Was that Jacoby Brissett is not Lamar Jackson. If the defense could play well enough to keep them in the game, Brissett's not going to cook you on a couple of long bombs like Lamar did that are going to ultimately take you out of the game. And honestly, I just think this offense is going to keep getting better, and it did. We got production out of Breece Hall, major production out of Garrett Wilson.
Corey Davis.
14 targets, 8 catches, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Garrett Wilson. Look, all of these young pieces are kind of. It all looks like it's coming together. Brees Hall caught a touchdown. He produced. Michael
Mhm.
Carter. I think Michael Carter is phenomenal. Honestly, for the value where he was drafted last year.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson looks like he's going to be a stud. Elijah Moore looks like he's going to be promising. Corey Davis, that was a blown coverage. He caught that touchdown on. Sauce Gardner obviously looks good. The offensive line, Elijah Vera Tucker is ranked, I think, the third or fourth best guard by PFF right now in the NFL through 2 weeks. The Jets are kind of getting to that point where you drop a quarterback in and we're contenders.
Yeah.
Now, by 2023, I think we're going to have to make a decision. Do we go with another guy? Is Zach the guy?
Mhm.
Do we go after one of these quarterbacks that seem to always demand trades?
Right. And the free agents,
Because
yeah.
I do think by 2023, we're going to be looking at a team that's ready to plug a quarterback in and go fucking win and play some games.
It definitely
and
seems
compete.
that way because the offense is clicking on all cylinders.
And it's Joe
around.
Flacco out
Yeah.
there, dude.
Right.
The thing is, too, I don't want to say it feels like it's been a long time or a short period of time, but the draft itself, the way it played out, and also missing Michael Clemens, correct?
Michael Clemens played.
He didn't get hurt. He's not out. I'm a little lost.
I don't think Clemens got hurt. I think he got a personal foul
I
on
thought
him.
it was a preseason thing that. he got
Absolutely
hurt.
not. He was in the game against Cleveland. He got a personal foul or an
Alright, so
offsides or something. Yeah.
Barn, besides that, everything looks amazing. It looks like you're seeing guys just everything looks like it's coming to fruition, like you said, and we're probably getting to the point where it's going to be a plug-in quarterback. Now, do you think they're more likely to draft a new quarterback and see what he can do, or do you think we're holding off? We're going to go for one of these guys who's been in the league.
Why not, Zach? We don't know.
We
Yeah.
don't
I
know
feel like
yet.
you
We
need to
don't
still
know.
let him.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll tell you. If the answer is it's not Zach and Saleh and Joe Douglas still have their jobs next year, it's not a rookie.
Yeah.
Because a head coach rather, and a GM tandem that are both on the hot seat are not going to put their jobs in the hand of a 23, 22-year-old kid. Not going to happen. I think it would be way more likely that they would go even look for maybe a Jimmy Garoppolo type or a Carson Wentz type, something like that. We're not quite there yet, though. Here's one more thing that I had to say. I said this privately in our group text. I said it out loud multiple times. I said during the Cleveland game, I think, like during first, second quarter, I'm ready to see fucking Mike White. Can we please see some Mike White? Because I'm sick of watching Flacco play. And I legitimately think the Jets are afraid that Mike White is good.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing if Joe Flacco came in and went 3-0, right? And then Zach's ready for week. He's 37 years old. We're not. He's not the guy. So go. Doesn't matter that you went 3-0. Thank you. We're not winning a Super Bowl with you. Get Zach in there. But if 26-year-old Mike White comes out there and goes 3-0, or it's even right now 1-1, Joe Flacco's number 3 in passing yards in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
If Mike White was 1-1 with 620 passing yards right now we got a problem.
Yeah, because now you have to make a decision.
Now there's a fucking problem. Do we just because now do we just roll with Mike White and admit that we blew it with the second overall pick? What do you do there? Because as we all know, a saying as old as time, if you got 2 quarterbacks in the NFL, what do you have?
No quarterback.
You have no quarterbacks. So that's genuinely how I felt about the Mike White thing. I was ready to see him. If this Zach Wilson knee injury was a longer deal, I'd already be clamoring for it. But I get why you don't want to do it. I think they're afraid. G-Men.
Yeah.
G-Men, another big win, 2-0.
Yeah, I mean,
It was ugly.
it was a lot of field goals.
It was an ugly win,
Yeah.
right? But there's no such thing as a pretty loss.
Right. The thing with that is it doesn't make me confident for when we start versing teams like we just talked about how none of us think the Panthers are a good team. The drive summary, like field goal, touchdown,
Right, but
they're
the most impressive part of the Giants to me in that game was they were flying around the ball, Baker played pretty good under duress. He made some pretty solid throws.
Did look well. Look good, rather.
Million blue shirts flying to the ball. Guys are all over the place causing all kinds of havoc, right? Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari, both haven't played a snap yet. They're 2 best edge rushers. Well,
Yeah.
Azeez has proven himself a little bit. We don't know about Kayvon, but top 5
We're gonna
pick.
find out hopefully.
So 2 of their better players in the front 7 haven't played yet, and their defense looks good. They're running around with their hair on
Yeah.
fire.
It's just the offense.
Get to the quarterback and run the ball is what the Giants have always done.
Mm-hmm.
For 30 years, I know for sure of. From what I've heard from my friends that are older than us and our parents, it's been the Giants as long as they've been around.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to protect the football. We're going to play good defense. We're going to grind out gutty 3-point wins.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is absolutely a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is a
We're
backup
just finding
quarterback.
ourselves in the same situation we were last year. We were just bouncing back and forth. We have these good weeks. We have these average weeks. And like you're saying, realistically, he's a back quarterback. He's not elevating any of the playmakers around him. You know, we're about to, I mean, I don't know how true this is, but they're talking about, you know, cutting ties with Kenny Galladay. Just freeing
eating
up,
it. Just eating it. You're not freeing up shit this year, though.
yeah, I
Or
know,
next year,
I
I
know.
doubt it. Like,
I know. But
wild,
it's just
dude.
crazy. It's
Well, apparently his locker was empty after the game.
Is that true? I didn't know.
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
what I heard.
Right.
Dude, once
right.
by the time the press got into the locker room, his locker was empty and he was nowhere to be found.
Jeez. I mean, good riddance, honestly. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Terrible
what
signing.
the fuck?
Terrible signing. I mean, look.
But it felt so like it made so much sense. I feel like at the time, just get us not an elite wide receiver 1, just get us a solid number 1 that we can kind of like build Saquon around, and we'll get a deep. But nothing. Like I just feel like if he had played the same way he'd been playing on Detroit, I feel like maybe Daniel Jones would be better. Maybe the offense would look even better. But I don't know. It's a lot of money for no return.
I always just thought
Yeah.
they weren't using him properly because we know Joe Judge is a useless fucking. He's tits on a bull, that guy. And even worse was I already forgot his name because he's the GM. What was that guy's name that got fired? Gettleman. Tits on a bull, the 2 of them. I always figured Dable would use him properly because he never ran downfield. He's a deep threat, big-bodied wide receiver, and he's running all these short routes. Dable comes in. We haven't heard any sort of buzz from him from training camp. Now we're 2 games in. He's barely playing. I mean, if I told you before the season started, the Giants would be 2-0, and their top 2 weapons would be Richie James Jr. and
Saquon.
no, the other wide
Sterling
receiver.
Shepard.
No. Who's the other wide receiver? Sills.
Oh, David Sills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I told you that those would be their top 2 offensive producers in the receiving game, would you tell me they were 2-0?
No, I would think Galladay got hurt.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Craziness. We could just kind of move right along into buy or sell
Yeah. Let's go.
because the first couple of topics touch on what we were talking here. Obviously, buy or sell, we know the game. I give a statement. If you watched Around the Horn at all in your life, this is a very simple segment. I make a statement. They're either going to buy that statement or sell that statement. Statement number 1. New York Giants are legit playoff contenders. Jack, buy or sell?
I'm gonna sell that statement, dude. I'm gonna sell that to a crackhead.
Like,
Do you care to elaborate at all?
I think, I'm gonna come to terms with this. I'm not gonna say the Giants are bad. I'm gonna say the Giants are getting to the point, and I'm not saying the Jets are necessarily better, because some people like to say, "Oh, the Jets are the worst fucking team in the league." Blah, blah. Yeah, we got fucking bigger fish to fry right now, Chief. And the Jets are 1-1. Some guys are fucking 0-2. The Giants 2-0 are proving to be a team that if you drop a quarterback in, maybe you're looking at something a little bit different. Maybe you're looking at a playoff run. But I don't think Daniel Jones is that guy. So I'm going to sell that shit, dude. I can't.
this one's hard because if the Eagles weren't popping off, I'd probably buy it immediately. You know what it is? The first week when the Eagles versus the Lions, I was like, this is a shootout game. The Lions are still building. We'd be whatever. The Vikings are a semi-decent team. They're not the greatest team, but they're a decent team, and they throttled them last night. I mean, absolutely throttled them. So I just feel like I want to buy it so bad. I just don't think if this Philly team is legitimate and it looks as advertised as it's been the first 2 weeks, I have to sell it. I just don't think we could beat them twice in a year. And even if by some miracle we do make the playoffs, I don't think the team is good enough to even make really a run. I think it's just a first round bye for really whoever versus them. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say now, but you would think. Let's just say they make the wild card. I mean, who are they probably going against? Potentially, maybe the Packers. Let's just say they don't light it up like they do. They wound up around here, but make the playoffs. are we going to beat the Packers? And even if we beat the Packers, then we're going up against,
The 1 seed,
which could be the Rams.
the Rams,
At
the
that
Bucks.
point, the Bucks, we're not beating any of those teams. There's no way.
It's like a difficult question to go with in week 2 because the NFC's got so many questions and so few answers right now.
Right.
Right now, I want to sell it, and here's why. We already said we don't think the Panthers are a good team.
No.
The Tennessee Titans are dog shit.
Worse than we thought it was going to be.
Dog shit. I think they're just as bad as I thought they were going to be. I think they're just as bad as I thought they'd be this year.
Be similar to last year.
You don't lose A.J. Brown.
Right. Yeah.
You don't lose A.J. Brown and not really replace him at all and get better. I'm trying to think how many other big losses that they had. Derrick Henry's he's on the wrong side of 27 now. He's on the wrong side of 27. It happens to the best of them. But the other thing, not for nothing, Taylor Lewan, shout out Bussin' with the Boys, big fan of the podcast. Ever since you started the damn thing, you can't stay on the field. I'm not saying the two are related. Did everyone see an update on him? Is he done? ACL again? Do we know?
No idea.
Godspeed if it's
I'll
another.
look it up real quick.
Godspeed, Taylor, if it's another ACL tear. That sucks. I did it twice in a row. Obviously, I'm not a pro athlete. Did it when I was 19 playing fucking men's league sports here on Long Island. But I tore 2 ACLs 6 months apart. Same knee. Terrible. Good luck to you. Hope you get better soon. Hate to see it happen in a contract year. If he wishes to continue playing past this point, I wish him all the best. But you don't lose your left tackle early in the game. You don't lose a guy like A.J. Brown and not replace him. And Tannehill on the decline. And they didn't make the defense any better, as far as I know, right? Did they make any serious adjustments to their defense? No. So the defense was dog shit last year. I think this team's going to be awful. I think we're going to be probably seeing Malik Willis sooner than we thought because
Damn, really?
If they're losing enough games, they're going to have to make a decision on drafting a quarterback, and you can't make a decision on drafting a quarterback when you just drafted one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So based on those two teams being absolute dog shit, I can't buy it yet. The Giants, if they're able to put the beat down on these Cowboys on prime time,
would be interesting.
Because this division, Philly, whatever, 2-0, they look great. We said it on the Future Show. 2 divisions that are very, very hard to pick. The NFC East and the AFC South. They're the hardest divisions to pick right now in the NFC. Still 2 weeks in. Any one of the 8 of those teams could win the division.
The Colts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. South, you could pick any 2 of those 8 teams in those 2 divisions, and I'd be like, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
You know? So right now I'm going to sell it, but I think the Giants are a little bit better than I thought they were going to be.
I feel the same way, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Dable's got these boys buzzing, man.
Yeah.
Is there a sport where coaching is more important than the NFL? Is there a league of any sport where coaching is more important?
I just think the game's so built on momentum that I feel like the coach just plays a bigger role. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I guess you could make that argument for really any sport, but I just feel like with football, it's just such a grindy contact game. Like, you're constantly getting hit. It's always it's never basketball, obviously, same kind of thing, momentum swings, but it's not every play you're getting hit. It's tackled. It's playing a football game is like a grind. I feel like you need a coach that not only is like a mentor, but someone that can kind of raise the team up, push it to where it can be. Does it kind of make sense? Or?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You're making sense.
I think it's the most important. There's not a league. There's not a sports league in the world where coaching is more important than the NFL. I think Dable's legit. He's here to stay. The biggest question mark is Dimes, honestly.
Yeah. And we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, this season's going to tell. And then, like the Jets, we may have a decision to make depending on.
That's a great segue.
Oh, indirect
It's a great segue.
All right.
The Jets get significantly better when Zach Wilson returns. Buy or sell?
Oh, man.
You know what? I'm gonna buy in on that statement. Let me back you up here. So last year when Zach Wilson sat with an injury, he came back and he looked a lot sharper and he looked a lot better. And now he's had a full off season to get better at football at a professional level. And he's sitting again and he's paying attention. He's watching. And the Jets are won a game. They've won and they're making winning plays. Now I think you start to see more of a better judgment curve on Zach Wilson's throws and how he plays. obviously, we don't know what the athleticism is going to be like when he comes back, but I think that we're going to see a lot more of the rolling out again. Flacco didn't really roll out too much.
Flacco's a statue.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot more of those rollouts, those bootlegs. I think we're going to see a lot more different approach to the offensive side of the ball. But I think it might be for the better because Zach Wilson might start seeing some shit where he's like, oh, this guy's open. This guy's open.
Right.
Maybe we're going to capitalize. Maybe work gets away from Garrett Wilson for the better part of the season when Zach comes back. And maybe Elijah Moore steps back in. You know, we don't know what we're going to get exactly, but I think we're going to get a more refined version of what we saw at the end of last year and whatever was built upon that through the offseason. And I don't think it can be all that bad. I don't think we have everything bad here. I think things can only get better from what we've seen. Unless, I could be terribly wrong.
No, I agree. I think I'm going to buy it as well. Pretty much going off kind of what you were saying. I think Zach Wilson, I said what I said in the group chat just because I think it's an interesting situation. But realistically, that's probably not what's going to happen with Flacco sticking it out.
Oh, they're not, no way.
Right.
Can't happen.
I think I want to buy that the offense looks better with Zach Wilson. Going off, I was going to say the same thing pretty much as Jack. And now that I'm thinking of it, he does do a much better job of extending the plays. And now Michael Carter, is looking great at receiving. Now, if he's extending plays, the checkdowns there, if you don't necessarily want to take the long shot, like you were saying before, the offense is opening up. I do believe, just from a morale standpoint, I think the receivers, running backs might be a fresh start. They might feel like this is our team. We're part of something that's, like you were saying, going to move forward. This is like for the long run. Like you said, they know this 37-year-old quarterback it's not really the answer. So I think it brings another energy. And like I said, just better quarterback play. I think like you said, he's Joe Flacco's third in the league.
Third in passing yards.
Right, so
yeah. Behind, take a crack at who? Who's he behind?
I would assume Josh Allen.
Nope.
No?
Tua.
Yeah, well,
Tua's number one in the league.
Yeah, it's got to be Tua after.
And then Trevor Lawrence?
Nope.
It's not Aaron Rodgers?
Nope.
Lamar?
Nope.
Is it someone I should know? Or is it
I would say he's not good.
Mac Jones?
No.
Baker Mayfield?
Nope. He's on his third team now.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah. Holy Jesus.
Carson Wentz is number 2 in passing yards.
Holy shit.
Interesting.
Before I get into, are you good?
Yeah.
Before I get into my pick on this, I forgot this with the Open. Jets win the game Sunday against Cleveland, right? That is the first Jets win in the month of September since Monday Night Football, Week 1, 2018, Sam Darnold's first game in a New York Jet uniform against the Detroit Lions. They've not won a game in September in 4 whole seasons up until today.
What
or
were the
Sunday.
feelings that Monday night in 2018?
I was in class and I left. Dude, I was watching like play-by-play on my phone, like the game cast. I got up and left class early, put it on the radio and flew home. Dude. I'm buying this. Here's why. Joe Flacco is a statue. Here's the thing. Zach Wilson does not win that game on Sunday.
You don't think so?
0 chance Zach Wilson wins that game on Sunday. But, 0 chance Zach Wilson comes in that situation with 131, down 13, and wins that game.
Right.
But Flacco strip sacked twice, I think. I think he strip sacked twice, if not strip sacked once.
Yeah.
But every time he takes his 3 to 5 step drop, the ends are pressing in. There's nothing but room in the middle of the pocket and alleys on either side. And he just stands there, plants his foot, and winds up. One of them definitely got swatted out of his hands by Myles Garrett and recovered by the Browns.
Right.
One of them wound up being I don't know if it was a touchdown, but it was a nice throw over the middle to Garrett Wilson. But like 5 times probably, the ball should have been strip sacked out of his hands.
Right.
Zach's going to move up and out.
I was going to say, or he's
roll
going to
out.
tuck it and run.
He's going to pick up 6 or 7, or he's going to find a guy in the flat.
Yeah.
And people are getting real worked up about Zach Wilson sucks because of the one egregious interception he threw in the preseason. Can we calm down?
Right.
Can we calm down?
It's the Jets, so people want to just pour on. You know how that goes.
Go ahead. What do you got?
When Flacco steps back in the pocket, dude, this guy pump fakes a throw 2 or 3 times minimum.
Yeah.
Every pass
But-
play.
But if you watched the Corey Davis touchdown, I'll be quick about this. They set that shit up throughout the game. So similar look, right? You got Elijah Moore tight to the left. Denzel Ward's on him in coverage. He's running like a deep out sort of a deal. The first time he run, it's Denzel Ward, right?
That's
Yeah,
the number
on the
one.
Browns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the number 1.
Yeah. So he runs a deep out, right? And Ward is giving him space to protect something deeper, an out and up, a fly, whatever. Deep completion, first down. Couple of plays later, similar thing. Similar action, same route, same result, throws it. Now what do we do and come back to the Corey Davis play? It's the same action flipped. Corey Davis goes with the out and up. Pump fake. What's his face? Ward has had enough of fucking giving up these throws. Fucking bites hard. Corey Davis is off to the fucking races.
Damn.
People call it a blown coverage. It's not a blown coverage.
Yeah, it was calculated.
You got to understand that football is like a chess match. Coaches run plays. You know how every time they run these jet motions or the ghost motion, and the guy will run like 10 ghost jet motions a game,
Yeah.
and they just hand off the zone, hand off the zone, hand off the zone. The reason they're doing that is because eventually they're going to get a look. They're going to call a check with me at the line and fucking flip it to him, and he's going to be off to the races.
Yeah.
Or they'll show you run action, and then the tight end will just be stalk blocking. Travis Kelce talked about this on his podcast with his brother.
Oh shit.
He said, there's this play he was dying to run. It's basically him running a little release double move wide open down the seam. He's like, so the personnel package comes in, the formation's called, the motion's called. He's like, I checked out in the huddle. I just assumed this was the play that Andy called. She's like, so I go out there and I run the fucking route and I turn around and they handed the ball off. He's like, so I showed my cards. So later on when we ran that play, I wasn't open because they already knew it was coming. Andy Reid was setting that fucking placing the seeds to run that play later. But Travis, so that way he'd be wide open.
That's crazy.
This is the way football. Now I'm no expert. Football from a schematic scheme standpoint, way more deeper and intricate and much more of a chess match than any one of us sitting at home understands, watching from our couch.
And I think you broke that down very well for somebody who's sitting there watching on the couch. I think I fully understand now what we
It's
got
like
going
if
on.
you really want to understand what's going on, I can't stand, if you listen to this show long enough, you know I listen to The Fan and ESPN New York, our 2 local talk radio stations, all day, every day. And I'm just listening to these idiots that call in, this is terrible, egregious, this and that. But dude, watching from your TV, you're not going to know dick anyway.
Right.
You have to watch the all 22 angle, which is from in the end zone, where you see all 22 players every play. Until if you don't have access to the all 22 film, don't give me fucking shit about what was this guy blew a coverage, that guy ran the wrong route. You don't know what you're talking about. You're fucking Glazer, you know? Like, do Glass. How about that?
Do glass.
We're going to keep it moving along. I am buying that the Jets get better with Zach Wilson. Justin Fields, did we hear his post-game comments?
Did not. What did he say?
Repeat, please.
Justin Fields came out at the presser and said that this one hurts way more in the locker room than it does for the fans because the fans don't actually put in any work.
Oh my goodness.
Justin Fields is justified in making these statements, buy or sell. I'll take the floor on this one. I'm fucking selling this, dude, all right? Because they putting in the work 40-plus hours a week, every week, earning their money at their regular job so that way they could buy your jersey, buy your T-shirt, go to the game, pay for the package, hang out in the parking lot. These athletes sometimes, now I don't think he was ill will, you know, I don't think it was ill-mannered in his comments. Young kid, frustrated.
Better, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we all seem to forget, all these athletes forget the only fucking reason that you're handed $23 million guaranteed if you're drafted in the top 10 of the draft is because dumb fucking idiots like us are buying your jerseys, buying the programs, getting the $12 beer, paying for the... It's all because the fans make it work, dude. And guess what? You've been here for 18 months. Some of these guys, you know, fucking Fred up in section 322... He's been a season ticket holder for 22 years.
Right.
All right. And the fucking Bears haven't been good in 22. Don't tell him that he hasn't put the work in, dude.
Right.
The emotional work that we put into these teams that we're invested in. I'm selling it completely. I don't think he's a bad guy for what he said. Young kids get frustrated. Don't. When you were 23, how many times did you say something and immediately you were like, I wish I had that one back?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I gotta agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm selling it. I kind of am in the same boat. Probably something that now he's like, maybe I could have worded better. Maybe the delivery on it could have been a little different. I get what he's saying though. It probably after a while it can get agitating listening to fans. Obviously people have made this point before, but social media being so direct, you're constantly in contact with this sort of shit. So I could get the frustration. I just feel like in the grand scheme of things, it's more about what you're saying. Like the NFL is a business. These things don't happen for you. You don't have this opportunity to make this type of money unless people are paying to see you in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm selling it. You gotta,
I'm gonna go with the sell here, but I think taking it front face in the business perspective, which is what'll be the future. I understand it, but to play devil's advocate a little bit, when you got a young team in there, a young team of some guys some of them are dogs, dude. Roquan Smith, dog, absolute dog.
And they were trying to trade him. They don't want to pay the guy.
Roquan Smith requested a trade
because they don't want to pay him. He said if he would have signed the contract that they offered him, it would have set back the inside linebacker market by 5 years.
Really?
Yeah,
he
said
that much money.
He said it would have set the market back by 5 years.
Oh,
yeah,
he would have been losing money.
Yeah, well,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I read that differently. I got what you're saying.
Losing money, I get, but it's like also just you're hurting
just
the rest
money
of
that he's not due.
You're hurting the rest of the position, the rest of the guys who play your position in the group.
Right.
You know, kind of the exact opposite. The way the Browns fucked the NFL by giving the $250 to Deshaun, because now no one's going to take less than that.
Right.
Lamar's not going to.
He's not even playing a full season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I think
carry on with your point.
Yeah, the locker room perspective of things is you got a younger team in there now. You got a new coach, new system. It's just not a great look to have, obviously, from a business perspective. These guys probably are. They're starving for a win. They're starving to get a good one going. Had a bad first game, weather game. That sucks. But
Got the dub though.
Yeah,
got
still
the
got
dub.
the W.
I think these guys, they'd want more and they expect better of themselves. I think that's how you're supposed to carry yourself as an athlete, is you're always to expect the best of yourself. And I think the feeling in that locker room is that they're not there yet and they're not producing at the level they believe they can be at. And I think that's where that statement derives from. I think that's more, I understand the frustration, we went over it. But when you're a team like that and you guys are not necessarily a great team you're competing, but you're not coming through with wins, and you get frustrated. And
Competing is a stretch. They didn't do much competing last year at all.
But you're getting into it, and when you're in that situation, you gotta set the tone. You gotta be like, this is what we need to do to win, and that's one of the things that Dan Campbell is very good at as a head coach. I know we're taking Dan Campbell out of nowhere, but that's the example.
Talking about the Bears. Keep it moving. Keep it dialed in.
Dan Campbell will take his team and be like, this is what we need to do. And Dan Campbell, great head coach in that aspect. He's like, this is what we need to do to win. And the way he carries his team. Fresh new head coach. It's different. We're not hearing a lot out of this.
I think Eberflus is going to be all right. We're moving along here. Next point. Bengals will miss the playoffs. Bryan, buy or sell?
Oh, man. I mean, I feel like right now you have to buy, right?
The odds going 0-2 and making the playoffs are not good.
Yeah, I mean, lost to a bad Cowboys team without Dak Prescott. Didn't even lose in a close one. It looked pretty bad. First game looked terrible.
Scoreboard, it was close, but it wasn't that close.
It didn't feel close. Yeah. First game, Burrow threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
Don't love that either. I'm buying that they don't make the playoffs. I think what's the stat? How many teams don't make it 0-2?
I don't know. I don't have the number, but it's not good. It's not good, and it gets even worse if you go to 0-3. Like almost impossible if you go to 0-3.
And they versus the Jets. You feel some type of way about it this week, so
yeah, man.
I'm gonna buy them not making the playoffs, and it's gonna be tough, but I think it's gonna happen. To be honest.
All of this money and resources and the entire purpose of this entire offseason was to shore up that offensive front. 13 sacks in 2 games.
Which is so weird because they did.
13
They put
sacks
pieces
in 2 games.
Right. No, I agree.
I almost made this thing buy or sell. The sack issue is a Joe Burrow problem, not an offensive line problem. Because it like because sacks are not always on the offensive line,
right?
But that's not. It was Bengals will miss the playoffs. I'm buying that the Bengals will miss the playoffs. Immediately after the Super Bowl, in our post Super Bowl show, I said their window might already be closed.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that.
Very rough to go 0-2. Even harder to go 0-3 and make the playoffs. The Jets were way worse of a team last year, and they wound up beating them. It's going to be a get-right game. Yeah. We're not talking about the matchup right now. I do think the Jets have a realistic shot of beating the Bengals this week. But yeah, I'm buying them missing the playoffs because the offensive line looks awful. The defense looks way worse. Mm-hmm. And Cooper Rush looked like a fucking god out there.
Yeah, he actually looked
He was overthrowing the shit out of people.
He looked like a fucking god out there, dude. So I'm buying Bengals miss the playoffs.
Prescott, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy in on this, and I was thinking about it the other way first. I was thinking about selling because I thought we could work out these kinks here, but it's just I think there's too many issues that can't be solved in one season, and I think it's gonna come down to the end of the season where we're gonna be like, are we gonna be at the playoffs or are we not gonna be at the playoffs? And I think once we figure that out, we'll figure that out obviously, but I don't see it getting any good, and I feel the same way James does about this Jets game coming up. I don't think it's going to be easy at all for the Bengals this year. I think the Bengals are gonna take some lumps.
And the thing that's understated all the time is when you win the conference, you got that target on your back.
Yeah.
You win a Super Bowl, you win a conference championship,
and you're in the conference with the.
You've got a target on your back now, and it sounds like a silly thing to say, like. Everyone's gonna give as if people weren't gonna give you their best if you weren't the Super Bowl champion or a Super Bowl hero, right? But it really is because everyone knows this is the standard. If we want to get to where we gotta go, we gotta be able to beat these guys.
Right.
So the target on your back thing, I believe, is realer than ever in the NFL. Keep it moving here. Miami Dolphins are Super Bowl contenders / just Tua. So give me 2. Do you buy or sell Super Bowl contenders? Super Bowl contenders. Buy or sell Super Bowl contenders, and then buy or sell Tua as a quarterback. Bryan.
I'm selling them on the Super Bowl. I just don't know if we're there yet. The defense is good, don't get me wrong. The offense looks great this week. Is it going to be like this every week? I mean, don't get me wrong, Baltimore Ravens defense is definitely not a bad defense. So I'm going to say sell the Super Bowl. I just feel like there's too many other good teams in that conference that they're are they going to be able to hang with the Bills? Are they going to be able to hang with the Chargers or the Chiefs? I just don't know. But Tua looked good. Everyone all the first season and all this off season we're talking about his arm strength. But it's turning into the arm looks fine, but a lot of these plays aren't even him throwing the deep ball. Yeah. It's just a matter of getting into Tyreek or Waddle and just letting speed kind of take over. So I guess I'm semi-buying Tua because it has to get there, and the deep ball didn't look bad. Don't think I'm fully bought in yet, if I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, 100%. So, this is the thing with Tua. When he was at Alabama, he's throwing the ball to Henry Ruggs, Jerry. Correct me if I'm wrong. Henry Ruggs,
better than I would.
Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith,
speedy guys.
Yeah. Got nothing but speed. When Tua was there at Alabama, which is not a Nick Saban way, we're going 4 wide all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Spread out the field, plenty of speed, and that's when he was at his best. And this is what Miami has been trying its best to. Oh, Waddle. Waddle was on that Alabama team.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't. Yeah, that was bad.
Bad on all of us.
Bad slip.
So Devontae Smith, Waddle, Henry Ruggs, and fucking
Devontae Smith.
Jerry Jeudy.
And Jerry Jeudy.
I believe. We're all, if not all of them, some combination of those 4 were on the team. And this is what Miami's been trying to emulate ever since they took Tua. We want to get all the speed on the field for him. Went and drafted Jalen Waddle. Went and sent the house for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Now we have all that speed. We better see something out of Tua. Right?
Yeah.
Because if Tua came out and they were 0-2 right now and it was Tua's fault, what a fucking miss.
Right.
What an absolute
miss. You got Hill
miss.
on the team now. Yeah.
I'm not sold on him yet because I don't know how I feel about that Ravens defense. Like, honestly, the Ravens should have won that. They were dead in the fucking water. The Ravens had them dead in the fucking water.
You're right. The Dolphins definitely had to come back in a major way.
And the Patriots hung with them as best they could. Like, that game was only 23.
Right. I think that's pretty much what I was saying that whole first week.
Yeah.
Defense is stopping them, but the Patriots offense is just not. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, I guess.
And like
that's why I think I'm half bought in.
The arm strength thing is like, it's too soon to tell on Tua is going to be my answer, but I'm still not a fan of him.
Mm-hmm.
When Tyreek Hill is open by 6 yards and you underthrow him by 1.5 yards, which he did on that 60-yard touchdown pass, you're not going to see it. When Tyreek Hill is open by 1.5 yards and you underthrow it by 1.5 yards, it's an interception.
Yeah.
I think too soon to tell on Tua. Right now, I'm selling Super Bowl contendership as well, but they are matching up with Buffalo this weekend, and we're going to get a lot of answers in that game.
I'm going to sell on Super Bowl contenders because, I don't think they hang too well. But I'm buying Tua on a good quarterback here because I'm seeing football is a big momentum sport. And
I heard a ridiculous nickname for Tua today. Keep going.
Football is a big momentum sport. And last year, the big momentums we saw was Deebo Samuel as a dynamic skill player and Bengals. Bengals winning games that we didn't think they were going to win. And there's 2 games now that I saw the Miami Dolphins play, and they won in incredible fashion. So, not necessarily incredible for the first game, but incredible fashion for the second. And what a showing by Tua. I think I'm going to buy in on him being a good quarterback. So I've seen some footage of they flipped his arm. They flipped the.
I saw this. Did you see this?
No.
Somebody mirrored the video highlight so that way it looked like Tua was a right-handed quarterback.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, it looks beautiful. It never didn't look beautiful. Like, you're just a fucking idiot.
Throwing with the left
You
hand.
just like Alessino's the same way with left-handed quarterbacks.
That's
and like
the thing.
because of Tebow, there's this thing where left-handed quarterbacks can't throw. Now there is some science into it where lefties tend to have like a bigger wheel on their throw.
Okay.
There's some science about that. Whatever. Mike Vick threw the prettiest deep ball that I've ever seen.
Yeah, he did.
Steve Young was a fucking animal. Yeah. And there's one more guy fucking not Boomer, right?
Team? I have no idea.
Whatever, it'll come to me. My point is, being a lefty is not the fucking kiss of death on a throwing motion. So the fact that somebody needed to mirror the video on Twitter to show everybody what it would look like if he was right-handed, what are we doing?
Well, I think we're appealing to a public audience that hates left-handed throwers. I think that's what we're appealing to, and I think we did a good job of solving that issue. That's what I think.
It's stupid to me.
See, the problem is you're past it because you know football. This is the problem because I'm going to break this down because this happens every fucking week. All right? Here, I'm going to fucking sit up for this one.
Wind up.
So, I don't watch a lot of football. I only started watching football seriously 2 years ago. And you know more about football than I do. You have much more knowledge than I do. You are much more versed in the sport. I don't.
You haven't lied yet.
I didn't know shit, and I still don't know shit.
Still telling the truth.
Here's the point. When you good? You burped a little bit there?
I'm dying to hear the point, dude.
All right. Here's the point. When you come into a sport to pay attention to something, to learn something, you look at what everybody else is saying. And what I did is I was looking at people hate left-handed quarterbacks, people hate this, people hate that, this guy's not good, this guy's not good. I've come to the conclusion where I believe that I have enough knowledge to base my premise on what I see, base my judgment, and I think Tua looks fucking great. And based on the premise that momentum is a big factor in the NFL, I think this momentum is going to carry them to the middle of the fucking season. I think we're going to see a great season out of that fucking team.
All right.
I think we're all going to be very mistaken, and I also now have another take, but I'll save that for later.
Fine. Time will tell. Keeping it in the AFC East here, the New England Patriots will finish last in the division. Bryan, by yourself.
Oh, man. Can the Jets beat them twice, you think? Because if so, I could buy it.
I think they can.
I think I'll buy it just to be fun. Let's say the Jets beat them in both matchups. The offense of the Patriots doesn't get any better from week 2 on. I'll buy that they don't make the playoffs. It feels like this
Not
might be the
playoffs,
year.
last in the division.
Oh, last in the division. I'll buy that as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, last
yeah.
in the division. I'll also buy that. I mean, they're not going to beat the Bills. They already lost one to the Dolphins. That's why I'm saying that the Jets, if the Jets can sweep them twice, I mean, or even get one, realistically, because they'll probably, I mean, if they lose 2 to the Bills and the Dolphins, and the Jets can split them,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
might wind up.
Yep, they could. So I'm buying it because this team has not drafted well in years on the offensive side of the football. They have not drafted well in years on
Who
the
was their
offensive
first
side
round
of the
pick?
football.
An offensive lineman out of Chattanooga?
Yes.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
I don't know about Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I don't know.
a
I'm
lot
not
of
willing
question
to be in
marks.
or out on him yet. But what I'm certainly out on is the weapons. I'm out on Hunter Henry. I'm so the fuck out on the other guy from
Janu Smith.
Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith,
Out
yeah.
on Jonnu
Throw
Smith
boy?
too. Their number one receiver is Jacoby Myers, who I believe was an undrafted player, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Jacoby Myers said?
Yeah.
That's why I'm selling or I'm buying, dude. Jacoby Myers said even he isn't sure what they're doing on offense with the scheme.
The primary receiver on the team.
All right. I think we got away with it for a long, and when I say we, I mean the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick got away for a long time with having Tom Brady
Yeah.
because
It's proving true and true. As
you were
the
able to
years
get
go on.
away with guys like Julian Edelman and going with the 2 and 3 tight end sets. And listen, Gronk was amazing. Hernandez was amazing. Still got Tom Brady playing quarterback. It's
Yeah.
very hard to win in the league without a true number one guy. The Jets, they did it for the last 10 years. We still aren't sure if we have a true number one guy. So, yeah, I'm buying that. I think it's very possible. And, like, this is what happens. Again, not like look at the Jets. When you fail to draft well and build your team through the draft, you eventually are going to fucking fall apart.
Yeah.
So, quick little thing. I'm buying all this for all the reasons you're stating. Because also, I fucking hate the Patriots. Quick little, I want an under 5-second response from both of you. Are we looking at the beginning of the end of Belichick's coaching career? 1, 2, 3.
I would say, yeah. I think this is where
4.
it starts.
Well, the man is 70.
Yeah.
The man's
Yeah,
70
I
years
think-
old.
Yeah.
So, see, here's the thing. There are these guys. I don't mean to cross sports here, right? But are you familiar with a guy by the name of Jerry West?
Yeah.
Jerry West, Los Angeles Lakers point
Yeah.
guard. You know Jerry West?
Yeah.
Jerry West played point guard, and then obviously he's the fucking logo. He's the
I was gonna
NBA
say,
logo.
He's the NBA logo. Yeah.
He won multiple fucking championships with the Lakers. Very good player. Goes on to be the coach of the Lakers. Does not do well.
Mhm.
Winds up getting ousted. What they said was that the reason Jerry West wasn't a good coach is because he's one of these control freaks that needs to be able to do everything himself.
Mhm.
And if he can't do it himself, he just, like, it's not going to get done. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he tried to coach,
Right.
like, he's like, if this is what needs to happen, like, I don't know how to tell you anymore that you just got to go do it. And it's, like, not good at making adjustments when he's not the guy with the ball in his hands.
Right.
So where I'm bringing this to is part of you wants to say Belichick, you could see him doing like a Bruce Arians type of move, right? But I can't see Bill just being like the GM and special
Yeah, I
advisor.
don't think so.
I can't see it.
He's either in or he's
So,
out.
I
feel
mean,
like.
the man's got to retire at some point. Now, you bet your sweet ass if they finish bottom of the division, he might just call it quits.
The way you put it about Jerry West, completely accurate, because there's there's a documentary on Hulu about the Los Angeles Lakers front office
Yeah.
about Jerry Buss. Exactly what the players would say, Michael Cooper would say about Jerry West. He would literally just go tell them, do it. Go
Yeah.
shoot a shot. Go make a play. Completely accurate. And I think that's a great comparison being made.
All right, we got 2 more left here. Russ is cooked. Buy or sell?
Buying that, dude.
I'm
Buying that.
gonna sell. I'm gonna sell just because I feel like I don't know what the problem is. Is it a timing issue? It's definitely not. I was saying this to Alessino and Nick the other day. It is definitely not a talent issue.
No.
You have great wide receivers around you. You have a young running back who looks great also. You are a Super Bowl quarterback. You were brought there and paid to elevate this team. So I have to believe that he's going to turn it around. He's going to figure out what's going on. I'm going to sell. that he's cooked. I think eventually he'll start cooking, at least hopefully.
Let me get in here real quick before you give your take. I'm buying all of that, dude. You want to know why? He looks like he's in his own fucking head when he's making plays or when he's out there. He looks like he can't figure it out, and that's weird for a Super Bowl quarterback. And when you can't figure it out, you get frustrated. And if you're frustrated, that's not a good mindset to have when you're trying to figure it out. I don't think they're going to calm down until the bye week. I don't think we're calming down at all because the expectations are so high for that team. Especially as a shareholder with Javonte Williams on a lot of my fantasy teams. Dude, give the guy the fucking ball. I can't tell you how many times I see him open and like Russ is sitting there looking for an option. I'm like, yo, you have a guy who's going to be an all NBA running back.
All NBA running back.
All NFL running back. I'm sorry. Apologies. We were talking about Jerry West. Come on now. All NFL running back. He fucking 11 receptions. He can catch the fucking ball, dude. It's not a question if he can or can't. He can. And he's got explosiveness out the ass. This guy can just fucking go. Not to sound like Colin Coward here, but like, here's the guy. Here's a guy. I'm not
Here's
saying,
a guy?
Yeah. Here's a guy who fucking is going to make or break your team. Go ahead.
You got to stop people. This isn't just you. The masses, the general public. Stop watching football through the lens of your fantasy football team, right? It's not fantasy fucking football. It's NFL football. It's the real deal. We're playing to win a game. We're not playing for stats. We're not playing for touchdowns. We're not playing for you to win a couple of $100. No one gives a fuck about your fantasy team. People in your league don't give a fuck about your team. That's one of the problems with fantasy, right? Is like if you and me talked about our teams, I don't give a fuck who's on your team. You don't give a fuck who's on my team. No one in the NFL gives a rat's ass about fantasy football. So the reason I bring this up, you're saying Javonte Williams wide open in the flat. Play call, game situation, reps, all of these things, game flow, all of these things go into account, right? So say Javonte Williams is out there in the flat wide open, but he's Russ's fifth read. And by the time Russ gets to his third read, he's got two guys on him. He's never getting the fucking ball there, dude. It's not going to happen. I understand it's frustrating to see your guy wide open and then Russ takes a sack instead of making what looks like an easy throw on your couch in your living room while you're drinking beers. I get that. It's not fantasy football. It's the NFL. I'm selling that Russ is cooked, but here's what I will do. And I did not coin this phrase. I think Barstool or someone. Nathaniel can't hack it.
Ooh.
The shit writes itself, dude. This man can't hack it.
That fits too well.
Yeah.
That fits too well.
And also, it's 2 games, 4 delay of game calls. We said this last week. It got worse, not better. The clock management is horrendous. I don't understand how nobody in the NFL, like none of these coaches seem to understand clock management. They've been saying it on the Bill Simmons podcast for years now because I want to cite them and not like act like this is mine.
Yeah.
Why doesn't every team have a 15-year-old that's logged 25,000 hours of Madden that understands the clock better than them?
Yeah.
Because a fucking 15-year-old could get them to break the huddle by 17 seconds.
Right.
Dude, they're breaking the... You say that Russ looks lost? How are you supposed to read a defense when you're getting out to the line of scrimmage with 9 seconds on the play clock?
Immediately snap.
You got enough time to identify the linebacker, base your protections, and then go. Like, sometimes you don't even have enough time to call your fucking protection out. So if the center... Now, every team's different. Some teams, the center calls the protection. Some teams, the whole line does it as a unit. A lot of teams, the quarterback does it. Or the quarterback identifies who the mic is.
Yeah.
Now, when people say that, they're identifying the mic for their specific protection purposes, not the defense's purposes of who their mic linebacker is.
Yeah.
They could point to a safety low in the box and say number 6 is the mic. Like it's just based on how they're going to protect it. And then once he'll identify the mic, the center will make the protection calls. It's a lot. And then you got to read what coverage we're in, get a motion, do a shift. It's a lot of fucking pre-snap shit that they don't have time for.
Right.
And Russ is a pre-snap guy, 1.
Yeah.
Okay. 2, he's 34 years old. Obviously, he's not going to be running around as much. This is a guy who just signed a 5-year deal. He's going to be looking to probably get another small bite at the apple when he turns 38, 39.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to play into his 40s. He said this. He's spent all the money and the resources on keeping his body right. He spends over $1 million a year in his health and his diet and stuff. He's one of these guys like LeBron who has his own cryogenic chamber at his house. Like,
just some next level shit.
he's not going to be the guy that's running around and like 3rd and 4, nothing but green grass in front of him. He winds up throwing it in completion, and people are like, "Why isn't he just running with it?" Because he's 30-4.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's been getting beat up in the NFL for a long time. He wants to like be able to walk. Remember, he wants to be able to walk his daughter down the aisle one day. You know, like I don't know. I don't knock the guy for that. Show me one fucking quarterback that ran into their 30s. You're not going to get
Right.
one. Guess what, Bills fans? It's coming with Josh Allen too. You better hope it does, because if it doesn't, this 15 years of Josh is not going to happen. Nobody runs into their 30s. I think Russ is going to be fine.
Yeah.
We always bring up first coach fired. I think Nate Hackett is the new favorite. I think if they lost that game, he might have been fucking done already, dude.
Yeah, it was bad.
Bottom line
If
is
the Cardinals
Russ
don't win.
needed to play in the preseason. You don't show up to a new team with a new coach with a new system,
Offense, yeah.
a whole new system, and then just show up week 1 and dominate. It's not going to happen.
No. I think it's more of a timing issue for sure.
Anything else on Russ?
No.
I was just gonna go with the favorite thing. First coach fired, favorite. I think it's still Kingsbury if he doesn't win that game.
My favorite's McCarthy right now. Still,
McCarthy.
Yep.
All right.
that's like the gambling favorite. I'm not saying that's my
Mhm.
favorite.
All right.
First and last and final, buy or sell. Jalen Hurts' early dominance. Go first, Jack, because I know you're buying.
Yeah, I
so
was
go
gonna
first.
say, this
I'm
one's
buying
hard.
in, dude, because all right, get one thing straight. Jalen Hurts is not the next coming of Mike Vick. We're gonna get that out there real quick. So I saw some shit like that during the game. They were comparing him to Vick, like one of his stat
Can I
lines.
cut you off quick? A lot of people make comparisons to Mike Vick who weren't fucking there. Don't compare
Yeah.
anybody to Mike Vick, dude.
Not to say.
You're being straight up disrespectful.
But I never did.
No, I know you're not. I'm not talking about you. I'm cutting you off to address it as a general point. You're 20 years old. You're born in 2002. Anybody your age or around your age, you were in a fucking pull-ups in 2004 when Mike Vick was lighting up the league. You didn't know if you were left or right-handed. Forget about who's a good quarterback. Don't compare anyone to Michael Vick. That's like comparing any outside linebacker to Lawrence Taylor. It's fucking sacrilegious. You want now look, if you're older than me and you were there and you want to make those comparisons, fine, I'll have a conversation with you. But I'm not even going to fucking speak to somebody who's anywhere under the age of 25 about comparing any player to Michael Vick, especially Jalen Hurts. Give me a break. Continue.
I'm buying in because, again, I know I'm going to this momentum factor, but it exists.
Makes
so
me
well.
want to puke.
What the fucking?
No,
Vick?
the Mike Vick thing. Go
All right,
ahead.
are we over Mike Vick?
Yeah.
Momentum. These guys just keep rolling, and when you roll over the Minnesota Vikings, obviously we know not an awesome team. I mean, Justin Jefferson electric, Kirk Cousins definitely not electric, piss running down his leg all night. The Eagles, they look like they're firing on all cylinders. The running backs look decent again. Miles Sanders looks fucking amazingly weird, like not weirdly amazing. Sorry. Jalen Hurts, I think, is in the best position to succeed at the moment of the young quarterbacks. This is what we're talking. This is year 2.
Year
Or
3.
Year 3.
Yeah.
Year 3. So we're still talking about these younger guys. Dude, he can rush. He can throw the ball pretty well from what we've been seeing. I don't think the question is throwing the ball anymore. And then you throw a guy like AJ Brown in there. You got rid of that piece of shit Jalen Reagor.
The question is not his ability to throw the ball. It's his processing ability. It's getting past the second read. It's not being a pick and stick quarterback. So I guess I'm going to take the ball from you here and run with it, and then you could go back if you're not done. I'm selling it for now. We know I'm not a big Jalen Hurts guy. The Detroit Lions, like, they hung around in that game way longer than they should have for this team that we're acting like now is walking on water. Look, sometimes Alessino said it best in the group chat last night. Sometimes teams just never get off the plane. And Minnesota never got off the fucking plane last night. I guarantee you Minnesota's defense is way better than what they showed us last night. The reason Miles Sanders looks so good is because once that read option is going, you have to commit to, you have to commit to Jalen. People were wide open most of the throws Jalen's making. Now, is that necessarily against him? No. I still want to see him make some tight throws and tight windows when it matters. not in a blowout win, But yeah, it's never been his ability to throw the ball. It's the ability to beat the pick and stick moniker that he's been given.
Yeah.
You pick one guy, you stick to it. If it doesn't work, So I think there's still way more to see. I think people are getting fantasy. We knew he was going to be a stud. No questions about his fantasy ability. When this team starts to see a little adversity, AJ Brown went down. How is AJ Brown? Do we know?
I haven't heard anything about him.
AJ Brown went down. I don't know if he ever returned to that game, but I can't be positive because I was watching on an iPad. But there's still a lot to see. How's he going to handle adversity? How's he going to handle the first 15 plays not going well? Because so far, the team script, we all know this. The most common fan knows this. Every team in the NFL has their first 20 plays of the game scripted based on what we know that opposing defense likes to do in the first quarter, based on mismatches, based on what we do well, what they don't do well, tendencies. And these first two games, their first 20-play game script has been flawless, right? They jumped out on the Lions early, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was never close in Minnesota.
No.
What happens when Miles Sanders fumbles a snap exchange and now you're down 7-0 to start? What happens when you make a bad read and throw a pick on your second or third pass of the game? What happens when we get punched in the mouth a little bit? That's still what I want to see before I'm ready to shift the way I feel about Jalen Hurts. But things are definitely looking up compared to where they were, in my eyes, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Are you done on Jalen Hurts?
I'm all good.
I'm going to sell for all the reasons you're saying. I just don't think, like you said, it's very one read or run, one read, run. There's really not much. Like you said, haven't battled much adversity. I don't really have much to add, to be honest with you. I kind of feel the same
When
way.
you have that type of player and that type of offense, once things are going well and you got this by the second quarter, we're playing with our heads up our ass because everything's mistakes compound on defense. We're throwing more out. We're trying to overplay in a way.
Yeah.
And it's just built. That style of play is built to shit rolls
I
downhill.
was going to say collapse, yeah.
That style of play is built to roll downhill. Once you get a little momentum, you're built to just keep it fucking moving. So we'll see. That's buy or sell. We're going to move right along to a little review of last week. We largely got beat up as a unit. Our team picks, we took $1,000. We spread it out over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bets, right? We put 400 on the Minnesota money line. Yeah. We put 200 on Cincy minus 7.5. We put 200 on the Rams minus 10.
Okay.
We put 100 on Detroit minus 1, parlayed with the over. Okay. And then we put 100 on the New Orleans money line. So that's a net.
Only hit on the Detroit
that's a
lines.
net of minus $650. So right now for the year we're minus $650. We're gonna put another 1,000 into play on Thursday. Stick with us for that. Alessino went 1-2 against the spread this week. He had Minnesota +2, Vegas minus 5.5, Detroit minus 1. He triple locked the Vegas straight money line. 0 for 3 on that. Obviously, that's a tough beat. The Raiders should have won that game. Don't know what happened there. Just absolute piss running down their leg. His parlay had the Miami-Baltimore under, Seattle +8.5, Minnesota +2. That went over, and he had Minnesota as a glizzy god. So he's 1-2 against the spread, 0 for 3 on the lock record, 0-1 for his parlay record, 0-1 on his glizzy god record. Myself personally, I went against the spread. I went Buffalo minus 10, Seattle +8.5, Minnesota +2. I went 1-2. You play back last Thursday's episode. I did say that. Literally said against Trey Lance in another bad weather game, the defense will hold up. Trey Lance breaks his fucking ankle in the first possession, second possession. Jimmy G comes in. Instantly, I'm like, they're going to beat the shit out of them. So look, what are you going to do? No one knew on Thursday that Trey was going to get hurt. So I went 1-2 against the spread. I triple locked the Minnesota. No, I'm sorry. I triple locked Rams minus 10.
Yeah.
0 for 3 on the locks. A weird block punt at the end of the game. And then, maybe I was wrong. Maybe those Falcons are a little more friskier than we thought. And I also had Minnesota on the glizzy god. So I went 1 for 2 against the spread, 0 for 3 on locks, 0 for 1 on the parlay record, 0 for 1 on glizzy. Jack against the spread took Detroit minus 1, Vegas minus 5.5, Buffalo minus 10. So he went 2 for 1 against the spread. He double locked the Pittsburgh money line, and then he locked the Washington Detroit over. So he went 1 for 2 against the locks. Don't remember what was in his parlay, but we know that it lost. We checked before we went on the air. So 0 for 1 parlay.
Saints, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and Raiders.
And he had the Pittsburgh as his Glizzy God as well. So 0 for 1 on the parlay, 0 for 1 on the Glizzy God. Brian, you got you and Mr. Pancake Louie?
Yes. So I had for my against the spread, I had Lions -1, Saints +2.5, Pittsburgh 2.5. Went 1 and 2 there. My locks were Bengals 7.5, Minnesota versus Philly over, Vikings +2, 0 and 3 there. I had the same parlay as Hawk, so went 0 and 1 there. Did have Jags on the Glizzy though, so wound up going 1 and 0 for the Glizzy. For Pancake Louie, he had for his locks he had Cleveland -5.5, Buffalo -9.5, and Minnesota +1.5. He went 1 and 2. For his against the spreads, he had the Commanders up +1.5, Cincinnati -7.5, Giants -2.5, putting him at 1 and 2. Parlay, he had Pittsburgh 2.5, Indy, Washington money line, Cleveland -5, Buffalo -9.5. He went 0 and 1, and then for his Glizzy, he had Miami, so he went 1 and 0 over there. So I would say I don't even know who had the best week. It actually looks like
You or Jack?
it would probably be Jack. It looks like actually it's Jack or Pancake Louie are both tied.
Oh.
It looks like they both went 3 and 5 on the week overall. I went 2 and 6. You guys went 1 and 7.
Yep, not a good week. Not a great week.
Good week. But there's always next week.
Yeah, there's always next week,
Always
and
next week.
you make sure you tune in Thursday night, Friday morning for that show. That will be available where we give you this week's picks. Before we take a break, we are going back to the Vampire League, the first annual Parlay-Vous Vampire Fantasy Football League, where the 4 of us will run one team. That is the Vampire team. As always, got to remind everyone at home what we're playing for. It is winner take all. There is a championship catering barbecue provided by Justin's Chop Shop of West Hampton Beach. Rolls provided by HLR Bev. Also, we have the Stay Thirsty package donated by Stay Thirsty Company, one of our very good sponsors here at House of Havoc. That package includes a $25 Dunkin' gift card, a Stay Thirsty hoodie, a Stay Thirsty golf polo, a Stay Thirsty t-shirt, and I believe some koozies and stickers as well. On top of that, the cashish, what everybody wants, $1,000 to the winner, cash. Just want to remind everybody this was a free-to-play league, completely sponsored by House of Havoc and the Parlay-Vous podcast. We got absolutely fucking demolished this week.
Yeah.
We made some mistakes. What are you going to do? We had Garrett Wilson sitting on our bench with a 30-burger, had DJ Chark in the spot instead, who gave us nothing.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins let us down. Kenny Gainwell let us down, although we gotta pull Kenny Gainwell this week. I understand the idea that we want to give up a bad guy, but we cannot lock a starter in like Kenny Gainwell just in case we win so we can give him away. We got to throw fucking caution to the wind. If we give away someone we like, we give away someone we like. We got to get a W on the board here.
Okay.
Looking at who's available.
Yeah, I was just looking as well. Just before we get did you have picks in mind already before I derail?
No, I didn't even really.
All right. So just as an idea, I know we like Kirk, but Matthew Stafford is now available in the free agency pool.
Yeah, Stafford's been available.
So if we want to go that angle, there's that. I think the biggest issue, sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. Thaddeus' team is actually very good. I'm not sure who you were thinking about.
Oh, I haven't even looked.
Potentially. All right, so you want to do free agency first? Figure out who we're...
Yeah, but I mean, are we even going to make 3 moves this week?
I mean...
Who are the Vikings playing this week? Give me the matchups on the Vikings and on the Rams.
Rams have Cardinals.
And Minnesota's playing Detroit.
There you go.
Rams are playing the Cardinals. Minnesota's playing Detroit. I'd be okay with swapping out Stafford and Kirk. I'm sorry.
I'm okay
And
with that for
then
sure.
who's our
Oh,
tight
yeah.
end? Can we get
Our
a?
tight end is Pat Fryermuth. Ooh.
Is there any upgrade there with Everett? You think, or probably not?
I think
I
we,
fire Fryermuth might be the better.
I think
option.
Farm was the better option too.
yeah.
I mean, at wide receiver, I feel good with what we have.
Unless Allen plays, Palmer would be the only kind of.
I mean,
But we still have Wilson.
Yeah.
Who fucking. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I get what you're saying. I'm not sure that dropping anyone for what's available would really net us anything besides Stafford. Because, I mean, wide receivers, we got Jacoby Myers and Russell Gage, but Jacoby Myers, like we said, doesn't even know what he's doing in his own offense. Godwin and Julio Jones are eventually, and Evans are all eventually going to be there at some point. Who's our defense?
Colts.
Yeah,
Which
what
I was
the-
just looking at. Who are they playing?
Playing the Chiefs, so we should probably get that out of there.
Yeah. So let's go Stafford for sure, and let's pick one of these defenses. Who are
What about the Browns versus Pittsburgh? Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney against Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so we're gonna swap out defenses for Cleveland, and we're gonna swap our quarterback for Stafford.
I'm good with those.
Yeah,
I'm taking a look at running back. Nothing's really like.
Yeah, I looked at running back and receiver, and there's just nothing that I feel great about right now.
Who's our kicker?
Matt Gay.
That's for the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say let's swap out. We'll
Is-
drop Cousins for Stafford.
Let me ask a question: is Richie James on the waiver wire?
Yeah, but like,
I feel like that should be our flex guy. We have to monitor the Keenan Allen situation, but I know we gotta lock this in now. And to be honest with you, I'd rather not rely on a situation than go with the guy who's getting targets.
yeah, but like, would you put Rich? Who are you gonna drop for him?
Let me see my phone.
I don't think because we got guys. We got Devontae Smith and Garrett Wilson. We're gonna bump one of those running backs in the flex spots up to Kenny Gainwell's spot.
I believe that we should get rid of Rex Burkhead. That is
No, we don't need to cut him for the sake of cutting him right now, though.
No, I'm saying for the drop to pick up.
I know, but like, I don't know if we need to pick up Richie James right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to drop like Devontae Smith or.
We're not gonna drop Devontae
Well,
Smith. And
What
we're-
about? Nah, no, Eli Mitchell's still out. So
Yeah, if anything, we would have to drop Rex Burkhead, and I'm just maybe one more week. Maybe one more week.
Do
I
we
just
think
don't know
anyone's gonna scoop him up.
who Burkhead.
No, the Giants
Richie
receiver,
James?
Yeah,
I don't think so. Dude, you got to remember the benches are short for everybody. Like Devontae Smith wasn't available when we did this last Tuesday.
Right.
And then before the game, somebody dropped him. And now we have like a pretty solid wide receiver on our
Yeah.
team. I think we're good on wide receiver because I don't know. You need to keep backup running backs on your roster to an extent. And Burkhead hasn't played his way off the field yet.
Okay, I'm
It's
okay with
trending
those
that
moves.
way, but that's a conversation. for
Right,
another
but he's
day.
still the 2. And Damian Pierce, they're not going to let him touch the ball 30 times. It's not going to happen. I don't see it happening that way. And Burkhead is a touchdown vulture.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a situation we monitor. Nobody picks him up through waivers this week.
Yeah, that's what I.
Then maybe we revisit this on Friday, Saturday. You know?
I agree. I
You
think
right with
that's
that?
probably the better.
Can we see the matchup? Look at Thaddeus here.
There's some good there's a good players on here.
How do we?
Thaddeus has Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, James Conner, Tyreek Hill, Brandon Cooks, Darren Waller, Rashad Bateman, AJ Dillon, Tyler Bass, Ravens defense, Rogers, Madison, Keenan Allen, Campbell, London. I mean,
So-
to me, this is like a Hill or Cook.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
I think Tyreek Hill's the guy.
I think it's got to be Tyreek Hill
Yeah,
because
I
I
agree.
already have shares of Dalvin Cook, and I don't
Yeah.
think he's broken 10
I
points yet.
agree. Tyreek Hill is probably going to have to be the move.
And we offer up.
Are we starting Gainwell or are we
No.
starting Jeff Wilson? All right, so I'm gonna make that move real quick. Who do we want to offer up? We got a lot of running backs: Michael Carter, Jeff Wilson, James Robinson, Darrell Henderson in our starting lineup. Unless you want to give up DJ Chark, or are we not starting him at all either?
I'm not sure about DJ Chark, but this was actually brought up to me. I don't think it's technically has to be a starter.
Okay,
But-
I didn't know. Yeah, I figured.
It just
know.
can't be like a kicker or a defense or somebody who's on IR or something like that. But I think
I think Jeff Wilson might be the play here.
Yeah, because he has expiring value. In like another 2 weeks, he'll kind of be. And he's already in a
you
committee.
think so? They say 8 weeks.
They said 8
I think
weeks.
Jeff Wilson probably too.
I think so too. I think that's a good call.
So we're coming
And we have
for
running back
Tyreek.
depth.
The
Yeah, we're definitely coming for
yeah,
Tyreek.
in case of the win, we're coming for Tyreek, and Jeff Wilson's heading that way. And who do you think we're gonna start this week?
Who knows, dude? We don't have to lock in our starting lineup now for sure.
Well, I guess we could definitely say that we're locking in that we're picking up Stafford and we're picking up.
We're gonna pick up Stafford and drop Kirk Cousins. We're gonna pick up the Browns defense and drop the Colts defense. We're biting Tyreek Hill, and Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be the guy on the block, I guess, right?
Sacrifice. Yeah.
You don't want to maybe give up Palmer?
I could give up Palmer too. It's kind of the same situation as Wilson. Yeah, let's do Palmer.
I'd
Because-
rather do Palmer.
Because Keenan Allen will probably come back sooner before Jeff Wilson, and we can
yeah.
hold on to Wilson. Yeah, that's probably a better call.
I think it should be Josh Palmer because even with
Yeah.
Keenan Allen out, he caught a touchdown. Other than that,
Right.
he hasn't been what we hoped he would be.
And Palmer for Hill's a nice little.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Palmer for Tyreek Hill.
I'm with it. You
All
with
right.
it, Jack?
Oh yeah, I'm
With
there.
it.
I'm with it.
All right, so that's our Vampire League update for this week. 0-2, still looking for that first win. Telling you, we build a little bit of momentum. We're coming for you guys, all right? With that being said, it's time for us to take a break. All right, guys, listen. Pat McAfee said it best. You got to look good to feel good. You got to feel good to play good. Well, we're going to help you guys look good with Saatchi di Dinero, all right? It's the finest Italian material. It's fire. It's comfortable. And we got a saving for you, all right? You're going to use promo code HAVOC for 10% off your total purchase at SaatchiDiDinero.com. Also, check them out over at Instagram at Saatchi di Dinero. Saatchi di Dinero, always authentic, never counterfeit. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. As always, best way to support the show is to support the sponsors. You support the sponsors, you are supporting the boys, helping us get out of this basement and quit our motherfucking jobs. You could also support the boys by liking, following, subscribing, all that happy horseshit, social media, HOH podcasting, no spaces, all lowercase, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Twitter's a little low right now, but the more fucking followers, engagement we get, the more active we'll get that Twitter going. You could catch us on TikTok posting multiple times a week. We post a lot of stuff on Instagram as well. Go help us out. Spread the word on social media. It's time for
Share with your
everyone's
friends.
favorite part of the first show of the week. It's Guess the Motherfucking Lines. Last week's champion is not here because his better half's birthday is tonight. So Jack is going to start first. Jack, Thursday night, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Cleveland. What do you got?
I got Pittsburgh laying 3.
Brian?
I got -2.5
On Pittsburgh.
on Pittsburgh. Oh no, on Cleveland. Sorry.
All right, I got Cleveland -2.5 also.
Cleveland is -4.5.
All right, so
All right, well, complete fucking miss. That's how tonight's gonna go. Just missing everywhere.
oh fuck, that's not your point, Jack. That's my point. What a loser I am.
Me too.
Yeah, I gave us both the point. I just gave Jack mine instead of giving it to me.
Gotcha.
Here we go. The Houston Texans 0-1-1, traveling to Chi-Town to play the Chicago Bears. Jack,
Chi-Town, lane 1.
Chicago laying 2.5.
I got Chicago minus 1.5.
It's Chicago Bears minus 2.5.
Really? Bing fucking bong.
Dude. Let's go.
The Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Tennessee to play one of the most dog shit teams in the AFC right now. Jack, what do you got?
Vegas lane 7.
I have Vegas minus 4.5.
I also have Vegas minus 4.5.
It's Vegas minus 2.5.
All right, whatever.
Yup, loving it. Loving this.
It's hard to give a team 7 that just had a colossal
That's exactly
fucking
what I was
breakdown, you
thinking.
know?
Yeah. I wanted to go higher. I just couldn't.
Patrick Mahomes and his
Goons.
infinite fucking bag of
Tricks,
weapons.
Things to do.
Tricks and
Wide
weapons and
receivers.
crazy sidearm throws and nonsense. Going to Indianapolis, playing a team that I was probably dramatically wrong about before the season. Maybe Matt Ryan is cooked. The Indianapolis Colts are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Jack, go.
4.5 Kansas City.
I got Kansas City minus 8.
I got Kansas City minus 11.5.
It's Kansas City minus 6.5.
All right, so
That
you're,
goes to Jack, right?
Oh,
well, he was 2 off, and you were how many off?
thought it was Price is Right.
1.5, but I went over.
No, it's only Price is Right rules if it's a direct tie. So Bryan gets it.
Okay.
Buffalo Bills traveling to Miami. Josh Allen and the boys taking on Tua and his speedsters. Jack, who do you got?
Buffalo 10.
I think 10's too
I
high.
got Buffalo minus 7.5.
I have Buffalo minus 5.5.
It's Buffalo minus 5.5.
Let's fucking go. Bing bong. Cincinnati Bengal Tigers traveling to MetLife Stadium.
Oh, you skipped one, homie. Baltimore.
Oh, shit. No, I didn't. I skipped fucking 2.
Oh, you skipped 2?
I skipped 2.
Detroit.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. My mistake. The Detroit Lions, America's team, traveling to Minnesota in an absolute get-right game for the Vikings.
Yes, has to be.
Minnesota 4.5.
I have Minnesota 4.5 as well.
I have Minnesota minus 3.5.
It is Minnesota minus 5.5.
All right, so you guys are both going to get one. Jack's on the board.
Great.
All right, now we have the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, contract boy, traveling to New England to play an absolutely just one of the most unpatriots-like Patriots teams we've seen in our lifetime. Jack, you have what?
Baltimore 7.5.
I have Baltimore minus 8.
I have Baltimore minus 8.5.
It's Baltimore minus 3.
Jesus Christ.
Minus
So
3.
Jack gets it
Yeah,
and smash Baltimore mince 3.
right.
We're going to go now to the Cincinnati Bengal Tigers, going to the armpit of America, North Jersey, to take on the New York Jets. Vegas has gotta be looking at this as a get-right game for the Bengals. So I'm taking Cincinnati minus 2.5.
Bungles 5.
I have Bengals minus 5.5. Jack's got it. It's Bengals minus 4.5.
Jeez. All right. 4.5's not that bad. Philadelphia travels to Washington. Divisional matchup. They seem to be dominating everybody. Washington seems to be like no set of scrubs either here. At least they're going to be tough on defense. No trouble scoring points, right?
No.
I got Philly minus 6.5.
I have Philly 7.5.
I got Philly minus 6.5, and it's Philly minus 6.5.
All right. Let's fucking go.
The double bing bong.
New Orleans Saints traveling to Carolina. I have Jameis and the boys minus 4.5 on the road.
Famous Jameis 5.5.
I got New Orleans minus 1.5, and it's New Orleans minus 3.
So I get that, right?
Would you have 4?
4.5.
Yeah.
What did you have, Jack?
5.5. Oh,
Yeah.
6.5.
We have the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Superchargers. See, this one was hard for me because I wasn't sure with Herbert. I was originally going to flirt with double digits, but like Herbert's going to play, right? Unless
I would think so.
unless this same idiot doctor pierces another quarterback's
you
lung.
see Tyrod suing him? Just real quick.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know it's also the same doctor that's going to now have to give Herbert
Yeah.
an injection in the rib.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's not bad.
So I took the Chargers minus 6.5, somewhere in the middle, you know?
Chargers laying 7 at home.
I have Chargers minus 7. Jack's got the bing bong. It's Chargers minus 7.
You both got it?
I had 7.5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bing bong. Been waiting to do that for a while.
Is that your first career bing bong?
Yes, sir.
Good for you. The other team in Los Angeles, the Rams, defending Super Bowl champions, going to travel to Arizona, who, barring a miracle situation going on in the fourth quarter and overtime this past Sunday,
Yeah.
were on their way to 0-2 and being one of the most biggest disappointments of the early 2022 NFL season. I'm going to have the Rams going into this game on the road -3.5.
I got Rams laying 6.5 on the road.
I think that's too much.
I went too high. I went Rams -9. It is Rams -3.5.
Let's fucking go. Bing bong for the lead, baby. Just past Bryan by 1. Atlanta Falcons traveling to Seattle. 2 frisky teams. You
That's the
know,
way to put it.
the good old.
Yeah.
I went with the good old tie goes to the home team here. Seattle -1.5.
Seattle 2.5.
I went Falcons -2.5. It's Seattle -1.5.
Bing bong, baby.
All right, well, there's the getaway.
Yeah, that's tough.
From you, not from Bryan yet. Green Bay at Tampa Bay. Battle of Legends at quarterback. Just based on weaponry alone, I had to go Tampa at home -4.5.
I went Tampa. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. You go ahead.
I got Tampa 3.5.
I have Tampa -5.5, and it's Tampa -1.5,
Oh my God.
which
so
I just
Jack
feel
gets
like
it, right?
so low. Yeah, it's so low.
Let's get a scorch.
That's crazy. There's 2 games left, so a total of 4 points available, which is going to put Jack out of it because he's got 6. The best he could do is 10. I have 11 points, and Bryan has 7.
Jeez. Okay.
So Bryan needs 2 bing bongs to send this into a tie.
It's gonna
And
be
in
tough.
which case we would have to go to over/under. We got San Francisco, now led by the rightful starting quarterback in the Bay Area, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy GQ, Jimmy Pornslayer. The man just bangs porn stars. What do you want me to say? Going to Denver.
You want me to start?
Yeah, I'll let you start,
I got Frisco with 3.5.
Bryan.
I have San Francisco -6.5.
I have San Francisco -1.5 because it's on the road.
Well, I lost because it's San Francisco -1.5.
Let's go. Look, when you're on, dude, you know? When
I
you're on,
guess
you're
so,
on.
dude. Bring us to Monday.
Monday Night Football, we got the Dallas Cowboys going to, once again, the armpit of America,
Woo.
at least the armpit of the East Coast, North Jersey. Or is that South Jersey? That's North Jersey, right?
I guess it's technically
Mid Jersey,
Yeah,
whatever.
kinda.
Who gives a fuck?
Mid-Jersey,
Central
you're right,
Jersey.
dude.
It's really,
On
it's,
the-
it's a fucking shame they didn't just build the West Side Stadium 20 years ago. It's Dallas going to the Giants. Jack, what do you got?
Dallas laying 6.
Wildness. Backup quarterback, lane 6 on the road. Wildness. Bryan, what do you got?
I have Giants -3.5.
I had the Giants -2.
It's the Giants -2.5.
All right.
Oh my god.
I feel like I had a pretty good fucking feel for
I
the
did pretty-
lines
I
this
did
week.
better this week, to be honest.
No, you did good. Jack, you're getting there. This is your first time. This is only your 3rd week playing the game. And it's only, what, maybe your 2nd season looking at lines consistently, right? So we're talking about 20 games in a season plus the 3 weeks we're at this year now. So only 23 times have you even looked at lines. Probably at least half of those you didn't really know what we were talking about at the start of last year. It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. You'll get it.
I'm still
you
trying
know,
to get it, honestly.
Getting the line right isn't as much of a deal, big of a deal as having a feel for the line. So, like, who did you have as a favorite that wasn't recent? Was it Atlanta or Green Bay you had as a favorite?
I had Tampa Bay as a favorite in that one. I had Dallas as a favorite.
You had Dallas as a 6-point favorite, and the line was -2, right? So what that tells you there is maybe you love Dallas now. You know, that's the point of this exercise is to see where you feel versus where Vegas feels, and now you're going to kind of naturally find where some of your value might be right away. You know, you'll get there. It's not going to happen overnight. We're still learning. Bryan's only
Yeah.
on like year 3.
Barely.
I'm like at year 6 or 7 of like gambling like that. And like, I mean, obviously year fucking, I don't know, 25, 24 of watching football, but you'll get there. It'll all come together. The final score was 14 for me, 7 for Bryan, 6 for Jack. Anything jump off of the page to you, Bryan?
Nothing underdog wise. I felt like There was one spread that was low that we all kind of reacted to it. I'm just trying to remember. Oh, the Ravens -3. I just feel like it should be at least 6.
I think it should be
right?
higher.
Like, it
Yeah,
should be at least 6.
I agree.
I feel like this Chiefs Colts at 6.5. I felt like was going to be more of an 8 or 9, but I just feel like the Colts are collapsing. Chiefs look like the Chiefs. Chiefs are chiefing, and
The Chiefs
Colts
are
are at a
chiefing.
serious threat to go 0-3. I just feel like 6.5 is too low. Other than that, I mean,
What do we got? What was the Cincinnati line?
4.5.
Yeah.
That's probably right where it should be, though.
Yeah.
Don't
feel like it
make
should be a
zero
little lower.
mistake. I'm betting on the Jets money line this week. That's a bet with my heart, not with my head. Yeah, other than that, obviously I got 4 of them right on the nose,
Yeah.
right? So nothing's really jumping out to me. This is kind of chalk
It
the way
seems
I
like
see
I
it.
was gonna say it seems pretty run of the mill.
What was the Chargers spread again?
-7.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't really argue with that.
no,
You know,
not at all.
Rams Cardinals -3.5. I guess you could make a case because the Cardinals don't look great, but they're probably looking at it as a divisional game.
Here's what I'll say jumps off this page to me. Regardless of the matchup of the team, of the talent disparity, whatever it is, 9 home dogs.
Yeah.
We have 9 home underdogs. How many of these are possible divisional matchups here? I mean,
A
Miami-Buffalo.
lot of them.
Miami-Buffalo is the classic home dog in a divisional game, right?
Yeah.
Philly-Washington, home dog in a divisional game. Arizona Rams, home dog in a divisional game. There's going to be a lot of
Broncos,
things that
Niners,
look
too.
easy. Broncos Niners,
Yeah.
too, home dog in a divisional game. There's going to be a lot of things that look fucking easy this week that don't shape out that way. That's all I'll say on it. Jack?
I mean, I got nothing. We'll see what happens on the Thursday show. So.
All right. We're going to take another quick break.
It's a new year, and with the new year comes new resolutions. And what's going to help you complete the resolutions that you set forward for yourself this year? Inspiration. And we have just the company for you that's focused around inspiration. Head on over to staythirstyco.com and put in the code HAVOC to get 15% off on your next order. And make sure you take a look over at the Winter 2022 collection. That's staythirstyco.com. Drop the OY and focus on you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is time for the Thursday Night Football preview, so to say. Probably going to be a much shorter segment than it was last Tuesday, because last Tuesday we had a game people actually cared for. And this Tuesday, it's not shaping up that way. It's Pittsburgh going to Cleveland. Cleveland's -4.5. The over-under is 38.5. I'm probably going to largely stay away from the action Thursday night. If anything, I might go for a little touchdown prop bet or something like that.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna pick, I'm gonna pick Cleveland -4.5. I'm gonna go under 38.5. Separately, together, whatever. Those are the picks that I would make. Do not be shocked if Pittsburgh finds a way to stay in this one. The Jets just beat this team. It was a miracle, but with Jacoby Brissett back there, with Myles Garrett went down. We don't know what's going to be up with him. I'm sure he'll play by the time game time rolls around. He didn't practice today, I don't think. Neck injury, I think I read.
I didn't see it, to be honest.
There's, this is a battle of 2 backup quarterbacks. One that's quite literally the team's backup in Jacoby Brissett, and another in Trubisky, who, he's just awful. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch enough Trubisky yet this year, watch the first half of this game, and you'll understand why the fans were clamoring for Kenny Pickett last week. I don't have much to say. It's a divisional matchup, and that's why it's on Thursday Night Football. They love pigeonholing these divisional games into Thursday Night Football because, one, you feel like the fan bases of the two teams are going to be more invested, and then 2, it's a talking point for the broadcast team, right?
Right.
We can fucking pitch about how these teams have been rivals since 1960, whatever, since the inception of since we created professional football. These two guys have been going at each other. This is my favorite when a divisional matchup is going on, and these two teams do not like each other. No shit, dude.
They see each other twice
No
a year,
shit.
every year.
AFC North, bash them up, smash mouth, hurt you physically and emotionally kind of football that goes on in this division, which is why I think the under is a huge favorite, especially when you tack it on to Brissett and Trubisky.
You know, the thing is, you can't really bet on penalties, but I would love to bet on, see what the odds would be for George Pickens for a personal foul.
How about this, dude? Over under 2 hours and 45 minutes into the broadcast before Herb Street says something valuable.
Oh,
Just a serious shot.
Before Kirk Herbstreit makes a fucking point, dude. Like, before he says something that actually has a point to it, I'm going over 2 hours and 45 minutes on that.
After halftime.
I just, like, as much as I cannot stand Chris Collinsworth, we were robbed of the Chris Collinsworth-Al Michaels tandem, dude. The two of them should have just traveled together. When Al Michaels signed that deal with Amazon, he should have been like, you got to get Chris, too. You know, because those two guys, man, what a tag team. It's never boring. It could be 52-10, and Collinsworth is like, Al, Al.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they're doing, Al. And Al's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what he was thinking there, Chris. I think you're right. I think he might have been trying to go for the Z cut. Meanwhile, you watch the Sunday Night Tirico gives Collinsworth no time, dude. Collinsworth says something, and Tirico's just on to the next snap.
Oh, geez.
Does not give a fuck, dude. I'm telling you. Pay attention the next time you're watching Sunday Night Football. Tirico does not play with Collinsworth at all. He just goes, all right, yeah, and it's 2nd and 10, and we're in an I set here. Just ignores him completely. What do you think? I mean, are we all...
I'm probably tailing you on the -4.5 and the under. I'm looking at some of the touchdown scores right now. I got to be honest. I like Kareem Hunt at 165. It's not wonderful, but it's good. I'll tell you what I'm kind of interested in, to be honest. Pittsburgh defense is plus 900. Do we think Jacoby Brissett is that far past throwing a pick six? Steelers defense looks pretty good.
Jacoby looks pretty disciplined.
I just feel like plus 900. I might throw just a little bit on it, just to see if it happens.
This is a game that I think that decides if Jacoby Brissett's a decent backup.
For any time touchdown you're talking about.
Anytime.
Yes.
Anytime.
Yes,
yeah,
I thought you were
not
talking
first.
first.
No, absolutely not. That is an anytime plus 900 for Pittsburgh's defense.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the only action I place.
I mean, yeah, the touchdown props aren't great. I mean, you got Najee plus 145, Cooper plus 200, Deontay Johnson plus 230. Outside of that, I mean, there's not many. George Pickens is plus 600.
I wouldn't waste any money on any sort of Pittsburgh touchdown prop unless it's the defense or special teams.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. Not against this defense. Not until they show me that they can do it consistently, there's not really much for me to, I'm not excited about this game.
No, not really.
This is a fucking boring one.
Jim, I just don't know what they're doing. I don't know.
I'll tell you, Al. This Pittsburgh defense, they're really good at stopping the other team from scoring. I don't know. It's just not a great matchup. I mean, it's like, what are we watching here?
Right.
What are you dialing in? This is what we call a matchup that only a sports gambler could love.
How?
Because if you're not a degenerate sports gambler who's going to put action on, as long as there's ball played, you have action. If you're not one of these guys, you're not going to watch this game. Cleveland fans, Steelers fans, degenerate sports gamblers who just need to have action between the whistles. Those are the only three people who are going to love to watch this game.
It's true.
It's
true.
This is like the equivalent of like a UTEP versus Rice college football game.
This is going to be like Seattle-Houston, except not as exciting. Because there's no mystery around Geno. Because there's no mystery around Mitch Trubisky.
And I mean, pretty low for fantasy value, right? I mean, you got Chubb and
Harris, Hunt, maybe Freiermuth, maybe Cooper if you're starting them. But I mean, other
do
than
we
that,
see Kenny Pickett in this game?
Not yet.
Not quite there yet.
No, because you put a kid in early, you could destroy him.
Right.
Trubisky's already cooked.
Look at Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Look at Sam.
It's
Darnold.
true. I mean, he fucking got thrown into the fire.
That's just such a delightful thing to hear.
Look at any Jets quarterback that played for the team after Sanchez. Any rookie that the Jets had after Sanchez.
Besides Geno.
No, Geno they put him in right away too, and he was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, but Geno's actually successful now,
Right, after he spent 3 years on a bench behind 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah, but success is success.
I wouldn't say he's successful. I'd say he's serviceable at best. Look, I wish I could give you guys more on this
Yeah,
game,
I mean,
but it's
it's-
just if you want to go crazy, you go throw one of those same game parlays in.
I'm even looking at those, and it's like the
Um,
passing touchdowns over under 1.
Honestly, to be completely level with you here, this is something that you probably, if you absolutely need to have action, you want to tag the under with something, or tag Cleveland money line with something. Here's what I'll tell you: this game goes right in the teaser basket, right in the teaser basket. You take that 38.5, you tease that motherfucker down to 30. You tease it up rather to 44.5 on a 6-point tease, and you take that under, and then you look to tag it with some action on Sunday. As far as single game Thursday night action, instant gratification gambling goes, I cannot tie myself to anything, and that's all I have to say about it. Brian?
Besides that, the Pittsburgh defensive touchdown, there's nothing popping off the page, to be honest.
Jack?
I don't want to bet on anything that isn't fun. So
Fair enough.
Yeah. So as far as an instant gratification Thursday night, the bet will start and end. The only thing that we are going to stamp on here at the Parlay-Vous podcast is Pittsburgh defense.
Yeah.
Anytime touchdown
Plus
scorer
900.
is plus 900. Put a little bit of scratch on that. Now look, we're not saying it's going to hit, but anything could fucking happen.
odds
Someone's
and the
got to score
probability.
these points.
Right.
The Steelers got some. I mean, Minka. You know,
That's exactly what I was
Minka.
thinking. Yeah.
if T.J. Watt was playing, I'd put more than a scratch.
Right.
I'd put a couple of scratches on it. You know. But that's going to be pretty much it for our show. Right or wrong. Yeah. That's the show. Hopefully we get a better Thursday matchup for you next Tuesday. Catch us Thursday night or Friday morning for our Week 3 show, where we're going to go through. We're going to give you against the spread picks. We're going to give you locks. We're going to give you parlays. We're going to give you money lines. We're going to give you all kinds of fun bullshit to bet on or bet against. Based on last week's record, you probably want to fade me in Alessino. I'm going to bring that 1-7 record up closer to 500 by this time next week. That's a fucking not. I'm blown. Whatever. No, I was gonna say it's the Paul Heyman line. It's that's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. As always, we're brought to you by House of Havoc Podcasting, Tiger Pack Productions, Sachi Dinero, Stay Thirsty Company, Justin's Chop Shop and Dynasty Skate Park. Peace out.
stay tuned.